Welcome back. This video is going to be pretty short. We're going to be randomizing the colors of the orbs in this game, and the reason I'm choosing to only do that in this video is because the next two videos are going to be pretty math heavy. I'm going to do camera movement in the following video, and then after that we're going to work on getting proper player movement, and I'll explain more in that video, but right now what we're doing is WASD for player movement, and that's not correct. If you've played Slither.io on the computer, it's supposed to follow the mouse. But both those videos are going to be pretty complicated, so I'm going to keep this one pretty short. From the last video where the orbs were created, I said that they would all be red for simplicity, and that was fine then. If you take a look at the bodyred.png, this is the image I was using for both the player and all the orbs. But now what we're going to do is instead we're going to add other orb textures that can be randomly selected. So if you want to pause the video, I have blue orb, green orb, and I added a whole bunch of other colors that you can see here. Once you have the different textures you want to use, go to the orb class, and in this orb class, this is where we're going to make some changes. First of all, here we have hard-coded the bodyred PNG, meaning every single time we create this orb, the image is always going to be loaded from bodyred.png. And we don't want that. We want to be able to have a list of file paths like this, and we're going to select one file path from the list at random, and that random selection is what we're going to put inside of here. So most of that code is going to go in main game. Inside the init function where you create the orbs, above the for loop, I'm going to add, and I've already did this, so I'm going to just paste it. I'm going to add a list with different file paths. So if you want to pause again and create a textures list with all the different file paths that you have, making sure obviously that they match the name of the file that you created. And once you have your list of file paths, we now have to pick one of them at random. So inside the for loop, when you create the orbs, we have a random X, random Y, random radius of the orb. Now let's have a random texture. Rand texture is equal to, and the random function has a the random library has a convenient function that will let you pick a random item in a list, and it's simply random dot choice. And the only argument in here is textures, is the list that you're taking a random choice from. This function here, and I only learned about it recently. I was up to this point always just creating a random index, but random.choice, given a certain list, it will pick a random element in that list and return it. And we're saving that value in rand texture. So rand texture now has a random file path, but the orb can't do anything about that. It only wants X, Y, and radius, because if we look at the orb constructor, those are the only parameters we asked for. So I'm going to add a new parameter so that we can now account for that new random file path. And I'm going to call it file path. Now we do not need to save this as a variable because we're only going to use it once. Right here, image equals pygame.image.load. I'm going to replace bodyred.png with file path. And now the orb can accept a random file path and load it as an image. And in the main game, we are choosing a random file path from this list using the random.choice function. And if I run this, you'll indeed have, oh no, I guess I didn't have it. What did I do? Line 35, new orb. Oh, and I forgot to add it. So I have 3 parameters. I need 4. So I'm going to add rand texture. And now if I run it, you'll have different colors on the screen here. And this looks better. It looks a bit more like Slither.io. And I am content to end the video here, and I'll see you in the next one.